everyone. I'm Barbara Dion, and welcome to the Story Beyond My Songs Weekend Update, where each week I shine a spotlight and tell the full stories on the most viewed legacy shorts that touched your hearts, sparked your memories, and got the most love from you, the viewers. This week, your views chose powerful tributes to four unforgettable icons of soul. William Poogie Hart of the Delfonics, whose smooth falsetto and timeless classics like La La Means I Love You helped define the sound of Philadelphia soul. Minnie Ripperton, our Chicago songbird with a five-octave range and a voice that truly felt like heaven on earth. Mavis Staples, a soulful birthday tribute, and the night she tapped me on the shoulder. And Felipe Wyn, the electrifying frontman of the Spinners who poured every ounce of passion into songs like I'll Be Around and left us with chills every time. These are your picks, your choices. So if you haven't already done so, please make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I upload content. Let's get into the moments that made this week so special.
Many guys have come to you with a line of fuzzy truth.
July 14th, 2022, the world lost the co-founder and lead singer of the Delfonics at the age of 77 due to complications from surgery. But his voice, that voice still floats through speakers, still echoes through time, still makes hearts swell with emotion. Today we honor the life and legacy of one of soul music's most delicate and iconic falsettos, William Poogie Hart, on the anniversary of his passing. Born in Philadelphia, William Poogie Hart, along with his brother Wilbert Hart and schoolmate Randy Kane, formed the Delfonics in the early 1960s. At first, they were just another neighborhood group trying to find their sound, singing on corners, writing songs, and recording singles that barely left the Philly airwaves. But what they had was special, and soon the world would hear it. Their turning point came when they teamed up with a young producer and arranger named Tom Bell, one of the future architects of Philadelphia soul. That partnership gave birth to a timeless musical moment. In 1968, the Delfonics released La La Means I Love You, a smooth orchestral soul ballad that introduced William Hart's hauntingly sweet falsetto to the world. It was poetic, painful, beautiful. The song soared into the pop and R&B top 5, and a new sound had officially arrived. Just 2 years later, they followed it with the Grammy-winning masterpiece, Didn't That Blow Your Mind This Time? Another Hart-Bell composition that left audiences stunned. His falsetto didn't just hit notes, it told stories. It bled emotion. William Hart was the group's heart and voice, but also its pen. He wrote most of their hits, delicate, melodic soul poems set to strings and rhythms. The Delfonics weren't just a band. They were emotion and harmony. Their songs became part of American culture, from blaxploitation films to Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. The Delfonics' music crossed generations. Whether you grew up slow dancing to them in the 1970s or discovered them decades later in a movie scene, you felt something real. William Poogie Hart left us too soon, but what he gave, that unmistakable voice, those soul-drenched lyrics, still lingers in the air. In every la-la, in every didn't I, in every note that floats just above heartbreak. Rest in heavenly peace, Poogie. Thank you for sharing your amazing gifts. You blew our minds every single time.
Two people just meeting.
Today we remember a woman whose voice could touch the heavens and who left us far too soon. On July 12, 1979, the world lost a beautiful soul, a singer, songwriter, mother, and one of the most extraordinary voices to ever rise from the city of Chicago. Today we honor Minnie Ripperton on the anniversary of her passing. Born on Chicago's South Side, Minnie trained as a classical soprano, but it was soul, R&B, and pop where her heart truly found a home. She was a proud Chicagoan through and through, and her roots were never far from her spirit or her sound. She began with the Gems, then pushed boundaries with the psychedelic soul group Rotary Connection. But when Minnie went solo, the world leaned in. With a vocal range that reached the heavens and a softness that could calm storms, she gave us Loving You, a lullaby written for her daughter, Maya, and a timeless anthem for lovers everywhere. That daughter, Maya Rudolph, would grow into a star in her own right. Actress, comedian, singer, Maya is a living legacy of her mother's light, humor, and brilliance. And I have a personal connection to that legacy, somewhat. Although I never had the honor of meeting Minnie herself, I did meet her sister, Sandra. And it turns out that Minnie's niece went to my grammar school, West Pullman Elementary, right here in the heart of Chicago South Side. Even more special, she graduated the same year as my sister, and Minnie Ripperton attended their graduation. That means the voice behind Loving You once stood in a little school auditorium celebrating a moment that connected our families, if only for a moment. Chicago truly is a small, magical world. In her final years, Minnie faced breast cancer with unmatched bravery, becoming one of the first celebrities to publicly speak out and advocate for awareness. She didn't hide, she inspired. She loved openly, sang fiercely, and shared beauty right up until her last note. As Minnie once said, your wealth can be stolen, but the precious riches buried deep in your soul cannot. And that is exactly what she left behind. Riches of the soul that will never fade. Today, July 12th, we don't just mourn her passing, we celebrate Minnie Ripperton, the voice of our city, the angel of our songs, and a soul whose light still lingers. Thank you, Minnie. Thank you for sharing your soul with us. May your song never stop playing.
I know a place. Oh, ain't nobody.
She's the sound of freedom, the soul of Chicago, and the heartbeat of a movement. Born July 10th, 1939, she's a gospel soul powerhouse who's been shaking stages and stirring spirits for over 7 decades. Please join me in wishing a very happy 86th birthday to the incomparable Mavis Staples. From her early stages singing in churches with her father, Pop Staples, and her siblings as the Staple Singers, Mavis became a fearless voice of the civil rights movement, using her gift not just to entertain, but to uplift. Their songs like Respect Yourself, I'll Take You There, and Why Am I Treated So Bad became anthems for a generation. Mavis didn't just sing about justice, she lived it. She marched with Dr. King, inspired presidents, and stood firm in faith and power through every era. But let me tell you a story that's as unforgettable as the woman herself. One Monday night, years ago, I was hosting the open mic night at the Cotton Club. You know how it is, calling up acts, working the room, soaking up the music. I had just introduced an artist and was sitting down, chatting with someone. My back was to the door. Suddenly, I feel a tap on my right shoulder. I turn around, and an older woman stands there and says, "Give me a pen." I'm thinking, okay. I hand her a pen. Then she says, "Now give me some paper." I scramble for something. No notepad, no flyer. Finally, I ask, "Will a napkin do?" She goes, "Yeah, fine." She scribbles something, hands it to me, and says, "Here you go." I glance at the napkin and my eyes widen. It says Mavis Staples. I turned to my friend Geraldine. We called her Jerry. Now, fun fact. Jerry and I looked so much alike that people often thought that we were twins, even though she already had a twin sister. So I asked her, Did you ask Mavis Staples for an autograph? She looked confused and said, No, I didn't. To this day, I still don't know why Mavis Staples, of all people, walked past everyone else near the door, tapped me on my shoulder, and gave me an autograph I didn't even ask for. Maybe she mistook me for someone, maybe she knew something I didn't, or maybe it was just a moment of divine alignment. All I know is I'm forever grateful for that napkin, that autograph, and that unexpected moment with a living legend. Mavis Staples has always shown up in song, in spirit, and yes, sometimes with a pen and a napkin. So please join me in wishing a very happy birthday to Miss Mavis Staples, a Chicago staple. Thank you for your voice, your legacy, and that unforgettable shoulder tap. Happy birthday, Mavis. Smooth, soulful, electrifying. The voice of Felipe Wyn was more than just music, it was an experience. Today we celebrate the life and legacy of one of the most dynamic lead singers in soul music history. This is the story of Felipe Wyn. Born Felipe Escalante Wynne, originally Walker, on April 3, 1941 in Cincinnati, Ohio, Wynn's journey to fame wasn't an easy one. His early years were filled with hardship, but music was his escape. That escape would soon turn into a legendary career. Felipe's big break came when he joined the Spinners in the early 1970s. At the time, the group had yet to reach their full potential. But with Wyn stepping in as lead vocalist alongside Bobby Smith and Henry Fambro, the Spinners finally found their golden era. With Wyn's signature vocal style effortlessly switching between silky smooth and electrifyingly powerful, the Spinners delivered hit after hit. Classics like How Could I Let You Get Away, One of a Kind Love Affair, The Rubber Band Man, and I'll Be Around became instant soul staples. It was his ability to ad-lib and take a song to new heights that made Felipe unforgettable. Just listen to his energy on Rubber Band Man and Sadie. That wasn't just singing. That was storytelling at its best, and that was pure soul. After an incredible run with the Spinners, Felipe Wyn decided to go solo. Though his solo career never quite matched the success he had with the group, his talent remained undeniable. In 1979, he linked up with George Clinton's Parliament Funkadelic and became a featured vocalist on the Funkadelic hit, Not Just Knee Deep, a song that would later be sampled in countless hip-hop classics. Wyn also collaborated with Bootsy Collins and released his solo album, Wyn Jammin', in 1980. He kept making music, appearing on tracks with Gene Dunlap and even the legendary hip-hop group Treacherous 3. Even as the music industry changed, Felipe never stopped performing. He lived for the stage. But tragically, on July 14, 1984, while performing at a nightclub in Oakland, California, he suffered a fatal heart attack. He was only 43 years old. The last time I covered Felipe's story, a viewer, CSART5862, left a powerful comment that gave even more depth to that heartbreaking night. They wrote, "He died on stage at my friend's supper club, Ivy's in Oakland, California. I still remember my friend telling me he laid down on stage and the band kept playing before realizing he was dying. He was one of my favorites growing up in the 70s. I still enjoy his music to this day." They went on to say that the audience initially thought Wyn's collapse was part of the show, until the music stopped and reality set in. By the time paramedics arrived, it was too late. It's a haunting reminder that even legends are human, and that Felipe Wyn, quite literally, gave his last breath on the stage doing what he loved most, performing. Gone too soon, but never forgotten. Felipe Wyn's voice continues to inspire generations. From soul to funk to hip-hop, his influence is woven into the fabric of music history. Artists have sampled his work, studied his vocal technique, and paid tribute to the man who could turn any song into an experience. Today, we remember Felipe Wyn, not just for the hits, but for the way he made us feel when he sang. Personally, I am immediately transported through time, right back to my childhood, laying in the back seat of my dad's Cadillac convertible, looking up at the stars, listening to the Spinners, Sadie. Such great memories, and that feeling will never, ever go away. His voice still echoes through time, reminding us that great music never fades away. Rest in heavenly peace, Felipe Wyn. Thank you for sharing your gift with the world. If you loved these stories as much as I love telling them, make sure you like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you never miss what's rising to the top each week. Keep commenting, keep sharing, and keep the legacy alive, because your views help carry these stories forward. And don't be shy. Let me know who you'd like to see featured next week. This is a celebration of soul, legacy, and love, and I am so grateful to share it with you. Until next time, keep the music alive.